You know how I always say how you shouldn't feel like you feel obligated to show allegiance or alliance with people, even if you may agree with something that they say. This is all tactic. I talk about this whole idea of people being culturally inept. Libertarians possibly got it the worst. My fellow libertarians who have no idea how to navigate, and they think kissing ass, for example, prime example, Black Lives Matter thing, and because of Joe Jorgensen and some of the kind of establishment wing of the Libertarian Party, were trying to sort of get behind that movement. That is not your movement. Okay, so let's get that straight. It's not your movement. Black Lives Matter is not your movement. Okay, that has already been established. They have their own established set of organizations that are tied to it. And I'm not talking about just Black Lives Matter in the organization. I'm talking there's already a group of people that have their hands on it, that are big players, that have their own personal agenda. The reason why I will never say the enemy of my enemy is my friend is because that is a nonsensical, stupid term. And you being in opposition to something isn't good enough for me to consider you my ally. Definitely for an established movement, all you do is effectively push what it is that they want. And they'll bite your hand anyway. They'll use you sometimes as a useful idiot. But quite often, they'll slap you in your face. They'll spit on you. And any event that they ever get their way, they're going to put you on the wall. You'll be the first one on it. They'll be like, thank you. I appreciate you. Get the fuck on the wall. That's how they operate. So, as an example, when it comes to my line, like I say private property right? I'm just using it as an example. This is one of my things that would determine whether or not I will go out of my way to ally with you. Private property rights. Something simple as that. It's the core tenet of modern libertarianism. If you reject private property rights, there's nothing for me and you to be discussing when it comes to like an alliance. With like an alliance when it comes to not necessarily participating in politics, but literal political like philosophy, as in identifying you as an ally. There's no reason for me to do that. If you reject private property rights, we aren't friends. Okay? We are ideologically different. We're separated. There's no reason for me to pretend like we are together. So this is why I don't do, you've never heard me spill the whole kumbaya, we're all in this together type of stuff. It's certainly when it comes to like police brutality and stuff like that. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, they do not have a monopoly on caring about people being victims of the state. None of them do. Who died and made them the monopoly of justice, right? Who? Nobody. So when people say, well, they're opposed, you're anti-state, you're opposed to police brutality, you're opposed to these institutions, why wouldn't you march with them? Because they not my niggas. I don't know them like that. That ain't my movement. They don't like me. They don't like what it is that I adopt. Why can I be over here with my bros advocating what it is that we advocate? But certainly now, because we are about as polarizing as it gets, the left has no problem making fun of you and biting your hand. And you know who found that out the hard way? Ted Cruz. AOC, who is a brainlet, was talking about the whole Robin Hood situation and whether you think she was right or whatever. This is why I think you'd be a fool to even acknowledge the fact that y'all agreed on something, because she doesn't consider you her ally. Ted Cruz is like, fully agree. That's all he said. What did she thank him with? Let's read it. Happy to work with Republicans on these issues when there's common ground, but you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago. So you can sit this one out. She said, happy to work with almost any other GP that aren't trying to get me killed. In the meantime, if you want help, you can resign. So basically she said, thanks, go fuck yourself. What are y'all doing? Like, that's not. And if Ted Cruz was culturally aware, he would have fucking knew that was gonna happen. So now there's a diss that almost has damn near. It has 3/4 of a million likes. Hate AOC all you want. I think she's a moron. She's winning. And y'all playing right into her hands. So what are you doing? That's what gets me. These sides make it so painfully apparent that they want nothing to do with you. They want nothing to do with your message, what you advocate, what you feel is just, what you feel is righteous. They don't care. They may use you as a useful idiot, or you may be stupid enough to latch your wagon onto that cliff that they about to drive y'all off. But culturally, guys, you have to be aware of who you are dealing with. You're not dealing with reasonable people. You're dealing with people that are ideologically different. There's no such thing as the enemy of my enemy is also my friend. The enemy of my enemy can also be my enemy. Remember when the feds were beating up on like Antifa members or supposedly kidnapping them, and libertarians got all mad at me because I was like, I'm not getting involved in that gang war. You think Antifa will come to my defense if the cops whoop my ass? Especially once they found out what my politics were? You think they would do that? Of course not. Even if though Black Lives Matter, I don't mean shit. I'm not the right kind of black guy. Let them tell it. You think they come to my defense? Of course not. They never come to my defense. They wouldn't come to your defense. Other than once they found out what your politics were, they would not come to your defense. So why on earth do you have these like clean? This is why I don't get with the Libertarian Party. I don't like the way they it's real corny. It's like they don't have a nutsack, right? There's no confidence in what it is, the philosophy that they adopt. So they sit here and try to kiss ass of like all of these different groups to try to latch their wagon on instead of being their own cultural motivators and attracting people to it is to their cause. This is why they can sit over there. Black Lives Matter just because they care about police brutality, whatever it is. Let them sit over there and say whatever it is they want. I'm going to be over here. And I may express disgust in the same thing that they are, but that doesn't mean that we're allies. Because again, that's not good enough. Your solution can make the problem worse. Just because you identify a problem doesn't mean that we're on the same team. You know? So yeah, it's like, those types of guys get me, and you'll never hear me, you see it play out, and I don't want to say I hate it, I see it as an example, reading stuff like that and seeing AOC clap back like that, and I'm like, y'all playing right into her hands. Y'all, that's why AOC is winning. I was telling your peers, I was telling libertarians, like, y'all better pay attention to this woman. She is the future of that party, and she is going to be a cultural icon. Oh, she's stupid, she's ditzy. Yeah. But you're not talking about reasonable people. You're not talking about reasonable people. They don't care about that. They don't give a damn about any of that. You're not dealing with people that have gotten to their position by way of some sort of logic. No. So stop playing into their hands and getting smacked down. Be confident in your position. Be your own example. Stop trying to focus so much on coalition building with people that want you dead. It's funny that she would ever use that term or try to, obviously she's referring to what happened at the Capitol. But it's funny that she, of all people, or any state socialist would use that term about wanting people dead or people getting them killed or something like that. And it's like, that's hilarious to me because you consider the tall body count, 250 million people killed by communism and socialism, but that's neither here nor there. These people are not your friends, and they're not even pretending to be that. So all I ask, no matter if you're libertarian, no matter what you are, you're a non-leftist, stop trying to kiss their ass. You do not have to acknowledge just because they get it right on a subject. That gets you fucking nowhere. That gets you nothing. All you're doing is boosting them and their cause. So I wouldn't even acknowledge it. I don't even care if like 100% some this like leftist says something I completely agree with. I'll be like, they just said that. They'll put me up on the wall. I have no desire to ally myself with that. The minute y'all start figuring that stuff out, you'll be able to culturally navigate. I'm trying to tell you.